Välkomna allihopa till Antalis webbinarium idag klockan 9 och vi är några minuter efter det. Men nu ska vi vara med allihopa. Så god morgon i alla stugor, alla kontor i Sverige, i Norge och i Danmark och på Island och i Frankrike och hela världen faktiskt. Vi ska vara jättemycket välkomna och tack för att ni tar er den här tiden att titta på Antalis webbinarium om Coala Interior Film. I will from now talk in some kind of English, so we all understand. Today's focus is about Coala Interior Film, and it's a wide self-adhesive assortment of film for design projects, for refurbishments, for redressings, for interior environments like offices, hotels, restaurants, bars, co-working spaces, elevators, bathrooms, retails, and other events. And I think that in these circumstances we have at the moment, this webinar will be the best place to go to get a solid understanding of all the benefits we can see with using the Coala Interior Films. So it's very nice that you have taken your time to follow this webinar. We will very soon hook up with Mikael, Odran and Stefano. They are ready to go in our training center, which is based in continental Luxembourg. So very soon we will be there. They will talk about how to do the walls, the doors, some furniture, and give us tips and tricks for actually doing this job that can be done. So you will be all on mute. You can ask your questions as we go along in the Q&A box, and we will answer them as we go. So I would like to welcome my colleagues for making the presentations. So take it away, Michael and Odran and Stefano. I guess you're very much excited to get started. Thank you so much and welcome very, very much to this webinar.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Michael. I'm really glad to welcome here Denmark, Sweden, Finland, Norway. So I'm Michael and I'm basically representing today Antalis and more precisely Coala Interior Film product. We're going to be together for about 60 minutes and Lars explained it pretty well. We're going to try to tease you regarding this product. We will explain what the product is about. We will explain the marketing things. We'll explain the tools and liquids that you would need to install this product. And then after on the practical side, we will go like a wall installation, a door installation with the frame, and then two different types of corners. Lars explained it once again really good. You will have a Q&A chat box where you can basically write down questions. Someone is behind the screen and will basically read out loud any questions you might have. Yeah, so I think, like I said, it should be about 60 minutes. If there is any question, do not hesitate. So let's jump straight into the product. So Coala Interior Film is basically a self-adhesive vinyl that can simulate basically multiple categories, such as solid color, wood, marble, natural stones, bricks, concretes, leather, etc., etc. So obviously the big advantage of this solution is the fact that it's really fast, it's economical, and whenever you renovate a hotel, a shop, or whatever you would like, you don't have to close the activity of your business. So basically during COVID time, it has been quite a big topic and everything was closed. So obviously now, if you have to renovate a hotel, ideally you would like not to have to close the business. So those are really the big advantage. This solution can be installed on wall, on doors, on furniture, pretty much anything you want. The marketing that Coala Interior Film is proposing is basically a free sampling service. So you have basically those A5 samples that you can request from your Antalis partners. They will basically send it free of charge. Then you will have the premium swatch book. In the premium swatch book, you will have 200 different references spread in 9 different categories. So like I say, you have the wood, the solid color, the natural stone, the marble, the glitter, the soft touch. Soft touch is something really interesting. It's basically a solid color with a silicone layer that makes the product more resistant, so against abrasion. So it's a really nice product. It gives you a silk feeling to the product. So again, premium swatch, 200 different references. And then you have this beautiful binder that basically contain more than 450 different references. The 200 you have there is a commitment from Montalis to have in stock. And then afterwards, you have the red collection that is available between 1 and 4 weeks. All right. So we will, during the event, play a little game where you guys could win one of those binders. So I think it summarized pretty much what's here. We will watch a video right now, and then afterwards, Stefano, our instructor, will start educating you regarding tools and installation. Okay, guys, we are back live. So you've seen this video, this nice video of a Holiday Inn Express hotel in Zurich. It was a beautiful hotel where we had many doors to change. I think it was about 300 doors. And this is why afterwards, Stefano is going to do a door installation, which is so important. This is a teaser, as I said at the beginning. Do not forget that Montalis proposed in Luxembourg a 2-day training course, which is going to be half a day theoretical course and 1.5 day practical course. Like I say here, you're going to know the tips and tricks about the product. But if you really want to learn this job, then the best is really to come to the training. So Stefano, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Michael. Welcome to this Coala Interior Film webinar. I'm Stefano, your trainer for today. I just want to jump straight and explain how to prepare the surface. It's the most important things when we need to apply Coala Interior Film. So if we have some damage, we need to repair and fill the hole and make smooth and clear the surface. We suggest to use a polyester filler, and you have basically 2 metal cards to make it flat and properly on the surface.
I think it's really important because this pasta dries really fast.
Yes, 15 minutes to make it dry. It's a bicomponent filler, so really high definition and fast for do the reparation.
The preparation is a really important thing. You can have the best product in the world. if the installation, or at least if the installer is not using the right material, trust me, the end result will not be great.
Obviously, sandpaper to make it smooth and clean on the surface. And after we have basically 3 different kind of liquid. They help us to don't fail during the installation. T800, it's a really useful cleaner to remove wax and silicone. So in case we have silicone, it's the best enemy of Coala Interior Film. On silicone doesn't stick because the glue also to preserve during the stock, the liner have 2 coating, one in silicone and one in paper to preserve the glue. Another cleaner, sometimes we need to remove previously installation of sheety film and we need to remove the extra glue. We have the write-off to help us to remove it. And the last one, so the real cleaner to degrease completely the surface cleaner too. What we suggest, it's always to spray on a clothes, never directly on the surface, to don't make any issues on the surface before the application. We have 2 different kind of primer to preserve a durable installation. Soft bottle, inside there is a water-based primer. We suggest to shake before to use, and is for absorbing surface. So for example, the untreated wood can absorb. We need to sell all the surface, so wall surface, not only on the perimeter. And solvent-based primer, hard can, with a practical pencil brush under the cap to put it correctly on the perimeter of the surface or the friction part.
I think there's a good way to remember. So this bottle is flexible. So any absorbing surface, flexible bottle. It's like a white kind of primer. So basically you put it on the whole surface, you let it dry, and then afterwards you install the product. And then this one is the hard bottle. So this one is for hard surface, like laminated wood and things like that. And there you just put it on the edges where you're going to install the film. I think it's a good memo technique to understand. The adhesive of Coala Interior Film is basically a solvent adhesive solution, glue. So definitely the primer is mandatory whenever you do the installation in order to get a long-term installation.
So now we jump to do the installation with Coala Interior Film, and we have basically different kind of squeegee. Coala Interior Film squeegee with 2 different kind of angle, straight angle and round angle, and we will see after during the installation how this work really good. Little bit more bigger squeegee to apply on big and flat surface, but also if you want, there is also more bigger.
And I think it's interesting to see that you have a felt side and you have the strong side. So basically this you will learn during the installation. Remember, once again, I know it's a lot of information that you're gathering here. It's a 60 minutes training, but nevertheless, the physical training is actually 2 full days.
And sometimes we need also to install glossy finishes, and we suggest to use a completely felt squeegee. Some special tools if we need to install inside, for example, a furniture where it's not easy to go directly on the angle, we have the correct tools to have a properly installation. Different kind of cutter. We suggest always professional one, and Olfa, I think it's the best one for this kind of tools. And different kind of blade, carbon blade, stainless steel blade, 30 degrees, 59 degrees, and also one special with a special cutter to do the cut head to head, buff joint. Okay, not all Coala Interior Film range, it's completely flat, so sometimes we need to have a special tools to install, for example, the glitter. And we put in our range also a roller to don't ruin the squeegee during the installation and the product.
It's true, I've seen that many times. Imagine you use this kind of rubber squeegee to put glitter. You will do 1 linear meters and your squeegee is going to be broken already. So this ruler is really interesting because you can flat up the whole glitter and you can do linear meters and linear meters without having to change all the time the squeegee.
So our best friend, the cut liner, these tools, it's really important to have every time in our apron, and we will see during the installation how these tools works.
You will see the apron that Stefano is wearing is basically what you need to do whenever you do an installation, because you have all the tools that you need inside. Whenever you do a wall installation at the top, then you have all the tools that you need. You don't have to go down the ladder and things like that. So tools, once again, is really important to do a great installation.
And another important things, if we need to conform Coala Interior Film on a curvy surface, we need to use a heat gun. A professional one is suggested to choose the correct temperature for work the film.
This Stefano is going to show you at the end. So like I said at the beginning, you will have two different types of corners. You will have a shaped corner like this where the heat gun is important, and he's going to show you, or at least teach you, the right temperature. And the other corner will be a 90 degrees corner where we're going to use obviously the cutter in order to show you the process, or at least the usual process. So don't forget, once again, if you have any questions in the Q&A box, someone is behind the screen, and Stefano jumps straight into a wall installation.
So basically,
I think one of the first things we can show here is, you remember he told you about the pasta you might use when you have defective surface. So this is typically what you would do. The laminated wood here was a bit broken, so we use the pasta, we sand it afterwards, and then it's smooth. Coala Interior Film wood is mostly with a certain structure. This is a great advantage for the product. Whenever you have a structure, it will help you to install on damaged surface. It shouldn't be too damaged, obviously, but nevertheless, it will hide any defect. And whenever you have to do an overlap, then it will also not be seen. The little bump you will have with a flat wood will not be noticed.
So our best friend, we cut 2 times after 15 centimeter of liner a stripe of 4 centimeter to help us to fix and make it completely flat, the grain of the wood on the surface. So what we need to do is just remove this stripe, and we can jump straight on the wall.
While Stefano is doing this, I will always share a little bit of tips and tricks there.
Absolutely.
And there. So a wall installation is really important, obviously, because this is where you're going to always do a maximum of square meter, and that's what everyone wants to do. If you do small furnitures, then you're not installing much Coala Interior Film, but whenever you do a wall installation, you have directly a lot of linear matters being involved.
So basically, we fix one side, and we can move on the other side to choose the correct position of the film. After, we need just to check to have enough material in both sides to cover all the surface. Squeegee on end, half squeegee on liner and film, and half squeegee just on the explosive adhesive. Center to the edge, and we need to put a lot of pressure on the squeegee to active the glue on the surface.
Like Stefano said at the beginning, the preparation is really important. He removed a little bit of the release liner in order to put the material straight correctly on the surface. The product costs a certain money, so obviously you don't want to realize when you arrive at the bottom that you are missing 5 centimeters or that the material is not straight.
So basically, we just need to pull up the material, remove the 2 angles of liner to don't break the liner, and after take off minimum 20 centimeters of liner to keep the material not stick on the surface and to help us to install Coala Interior Film without tension from the top to the bottom.
It looks a bit like wallpaper at the end, except that here the adhesive is directly on the material. This is again one of the big advantages of this product, is the fact that you have no smell, no dust, no whatsoever. You have directly a finished installation. So as you can see, it looks really easy, but trust me, you need to learn how to do this kind of installation.
So basically now we need to avoid the electrical part of the panel. If you see,
sorry to interrupt you, Stefano.
Yes.
I love this little line you have there at the below. So everyone will think, okay, well, we have to put the material in the bin. No. There's 2 ways. Or by basically putting it flat to the wall, it's going to be directly disappearing. And if it stays there, he will just warm it up with a heat gun with a minimum temperature, and then it will disappear. So I really like the fact that there is this.
So in this case, we have two little elements. They create some tension on Coala Interior Film. So we just need to cut out to make it another time flat the material. We suggest every time to cut round on the beginning and on the last part to inhibit the possibility to have crack if I need to take off the film. So now we just need to remove, put a little bit of tension with the opposite hand, and you see all it's completely flat. So we proceed like usual to remove the tension on the film. Okay.
That's a good one. Look, it disappeared. So really, don't forget that the construction of the material is made of PVC. PVC means that whenever you're going to warm it up, it will come back to its initial state. Really important. And you can see afterwards, it's really like wallpaper. It really goes fast. An important thing, I see here someone showing me a big A4 size. Do not forget the survey, Michael. So at the end of the webinar, guys, do not forget, Antalis will send you, or at least you will see it on your screen, there is a survey to fulfill. Please, guys, be gentle. If you like this session, answer the survey at the end.
Okay. On the last part, we suggest always to roll up the extra liner to inhibit the possibility the paper can stick on the back of Coala Interior Film. And in the same time, help us after to don't have a lot of paper in the bin, but we just roll up all the liner and we fulfill all the roll. So now I jump on the first part. I just need to remove the 15 centimeter of liner and proceed to squeeze the film.
How many square meter can a good installer install every day? Stefano, what do you reckon?
So a good installer on flat surface can install between 80 100 square meter per day.
So 80 to 100 square meter a day. So obviously this is when it comes to wall installation.
Yes.
Be careful because here it's quite easy. I say easy, but of course it's not that easy, but it's a laminated wood. So whenever you decide, okay, I want to remove 50 centimeters and put it back, it's quite easy. If you were to do this on cheap paint, trust me, the paint will come out and will be stuck to the adhesive. And if it's the case, then you cannot do anything. Unfortunately, you have to remove, or at least to throw out Coala Interior Film.
So we start to see if there is some defect to remove before the definition part. There is no bubbling, there is no wrinkles, so I can proceed to cut Coala Interior Film. In this case, we proceed before to cut the most dangerous part, so the electrical part. We just need to go inside with the blade, keep pressure on the lower part to inhibit the possibility to falling up, but in the case you're falling with the cutter, you go down, so you don't create any kind of problem. Always, I suggest to highlight the angle because can be different in the two sides, like in this case. So to don't make some issues.
So here, bottom part is basically cut more in the inside because obviously afterwards you can put the plastic cap and it's in order obviously to have a nice finish. If you were to cut too much, then you will have an excess and it's going to look white behind, so it's not going to be great.
And really important to remember to stick properly till the end Coala Interior Film once it's cut.
This is obviously how to learn to make the finish and things like that, so it's quite important. Now, Stefano is going to show you basically the cutting side, which is quite important.
Exactly. So we just go inside, but in this case, we proceed to cut straight. So the cutter is completely straight. We just keep the blade flat on the side and we put some pressure on the element.
And you will notice that Stefano didn't cut the top, and it's for a reason, because obviously if you were to cut straight from the top, then the material will fall as you cut down and it might disturb you while cutting. And the next important thing, I believe, Stefano, is the 45 degrees angle cut.
Exactly. So in this case, I want to show you then if you proceed with a straight cut, also if someone needs to clean the surface, it's really easy to peel off the film because it's exactly on the edge of the structure.
And obviously, nobody wants to come back after an installation is done. And we know that in this vinyl industry, everyone who knows that this is a vinyl will try to peel it off. So this is why the 45 degrees angle cut is really, really important. We use Japanese blade and we use the Alpha brand, which are made in Japan, and they are the best ones.
Exactly. So now you can see with the 35 degrees cut, so it's just the blade flat on the surface with a 45 inclination on the cutter, and we keep pressure and we proceed to cut the excess. And if you see also, if I put a lot of energy, it's impossible to remove Coala Interior Film from the side.
This is really important. I absolutely agree. So we spoke about how many square meters can be done in one day. We haven't spoken about the pricing. So this, while Stefano is going to finish the cutting, I will explain you pricing in our countries. And when I say about our countries, we speak about France, Germany, England, etc., etc. Approximately a square meter of Coala Interior Film is being sold between 45 and 120 euro per square meter. What would make the difference? It's multiple things. It depends about the preparation that is required. So is the wall requiring a lot of preparation? Yes or no? What kind of material are you choosing? Are you going to go with the Coala Interior Film solid color, wood? Are you going to go with the natural stone, a fabric, etc., etc.? What is the volume? Are we speaking about 10 square meter or 100 square meter? Of course, the fame of the project is really important, etc., etc. One important thing as well is the wastage. Are you going to do a wall where you will have 20 or 30 centimeters waste, or you have just 2 or 3 centimeters waste? The material costs a certain price, so it's really important not to waste too much. As you can see here, Stefano is using the heat gun. So it's just basically at few places if you've noticed a defect. And remember this place where you have this line. So basically by putting a bit of heat on it, then the line completely disappears. As simple as that. So this is the particularity of the vinyl. Trust me, with wallpaper or painting, this is absolutely not possible. So this ends the wall installation with Stefano. Thank you very much.
Exactly.
We're going to have another video now, and then Stefano is going to jump into something that really is important for us. Is basically doors. He's going to do a door installation and a frame installation. Don't forget, once again, any question in the Q&A, and a little reminder as well for the end of the session with the survey. Thank you very much. Okay, guys, we are back. So like I said, we did a wall installation. Now we're going to jump straight into what's really important to us. It's really door. Why door is so important? Because you have doors everywhere. One of the main segments where you can sell this product is basically the HoReCa, hotel, restaurants, cafe. You can also sell that in shops and many other places. But basically, HoReCa, you will always have doors. And trust me on one thing, fireproof doors cost a lot of money. And basically, when you think that you can use Coala Interior Film to wrap it up, you can have one side in solid color, the other side in wood. You can make any mix you want. So basically, your imagination is limitless when it comes to this product. Something I forgot to mention, the roll width is 1.22 meters, and the length can be 30 meters or 50 meters, depending on the material and its thickness. Once again, here we use a wood type which has a structure. So the structure is a great advantage against scratches, etc., etc. So Stefano, the floor is yours.
So I want to say also, Coala Interior Film, it's possible to personalize 100%. So you can also print on top.
Yeah,
you
could print, for example, the number of the rooms if it comes to a hotel, or the logo and things like that. So you can, on this kind of material, whether it's the wood, solid color, concrete, you can print with eco-solvent, solvent, latex, and obviously UV. Once again, here Stefano does the same way as for the wall installation. He's basically pre-cutting a piece of the release liner in order to check that the material is completely straight. And I can tell already that on the right side there, there's a little bit of a gap, Stefano, so be careful. Well, it's not much. You are the professional anyhow.
Okay. Also, another advantage, you can also, if you have a huge project with door, pre-order the material already cut. So the door, usually it's 80. To preserve the extra material, order the material already cut to don't lose too much time. Like before, we start from the center to the edge, from the center to the edge to remove the tension on the film. We can jump straight to do the top part. It's really important, like you can see, I don't use only my arm to stick and apply Coala Interior Film, but I also move my body to keep the same pressure for all the installation.
So the door installation is really important to us, like I said at the beginning. Whenever we receive a trainee here, we don't let him leave the training center without being able to do doors. And a certified installer is able to do between 10 and 15 doors per day. So Stefano, you see it looks quite easy. He's able to do between 20 and 25 doors a day. So you can imagine with this kind of speed, you can make quite a lot of money installing this product straight.
Like before, we roll up on the last part the liner to help us during the installation. So in this case, we have a metal plate to avoid on the side. We just suggest to remove a little bit the tension and stick off a little bit the film.
It's true, Stefano, we haven't spoken much about the tension, but the tension is really, really important. It seems easy, but trust me, if you start your door or a wall installation with tension from the start, at the end, it's going to be really complicated. You will have a gathering of material and you will not be able to finish the installation properly. So tension, he will show you afterwards what it looks like, but getting the product straight and flat to the surface is the most important.
So now we jump to check just if there is some bubbles, some wrinkles, or some things to repair. All it's done in the good way. So we start with always with the most critical part, so the metal plate on the side. What we do is just to stick off Coala Interior Film, push till the angle, reopen the material, and proceed in the safe way. So we just put the knife between the corner of the metal and the wood plate, and we cut a triangle. The first down, the second up, to have extra material. And with the squeegee, we help to turn Coala Interior Film on the structure. Hard part of the squeegee on the flat part, cutter on the squeegee, and the squeegee scroll on Coala Interior Film to cut with a little bit of excess. So the thickness of the squeegee help us to keep some little extra material. Then now we can push really till the end the film, and we can cut the little excess between the metal part and the wood part. Okay.
This little 1 millimeter can make the difference, trust me, especially when it comes to the bottom. Stefano will come the bottoms just afterwards. Let's imagine in a hotel, you have the maintenance and the cleaning ladies that basically come there every day. You have the clients that are basically every day coming in, coming out, and things like that. So of course, it's really important to have a perfect 45 degrees cut at the bottom in order for the carpet not to remove the film by multiple usage.
So the most important cut, like Michael mentioned, it's the bottom part of the door. It's a little bit more than 45. We can say it's 59 degrees.
So you will have a little wide gap at the bottom. So it's made on purpose to avoid the carpet basically peeling off the material.
Yes, because we never know, also because the dishes lady put always a corner under the door to keep it open. So if we have just 1 millimeter of Coala Interior film on the bottom, it's really easy to have peeling off of material.
And once again, nobody wants to have to come back once the installation is done.
Now we proceed in the most safe way to cut the perimeter. So we cut on the opposite side completely straight in order to squeegee the film properly till the end of the door for proceed with a 45 degrees cut. Okay. So try to think if you make some issues and you need to restart from zero the installation. I prefer to spend 1 minute more and be safe, like in this way, to cut before outside and after inside, instead of proceed to cut directly and make some issues.
I always like to highlight the fact that, look, it was only five minutes installation, and basically you have a brand new door that you can decide to change, follow the trends, decide to change the color in the near future whatsoever. The big difference in a hotel, for example, is the fact that if you were to paint this in the morning, it's impossible to rent the room in the afternoon. But changing with Coala Interior Film the appearance of your door in the morning, and obviously you can rent this in the afternoon. So we haven't spoken about the price for doors. So usually, like I said, a certified installer, Coala Interior Film, is able to do between $10 and $15 a day. And usually in our country, we charge between 250 and 350 euros per door, completely finished. Careful, once again, the preparation is really key. You cannot spend more than 20% of your time preparing the surface before covering it. And usually it's not a Coala Interior Film installer who is going to be preparing the surface. You have basically a team dedicated to that, because obviously an installer is not the one supposed to remove the handles, remove the signage, etc., etc. Primer, you would use basically here the Primer Plus because it's a laminated wood, and you would use the Primer Plus on all edges of the doors.
And also where we find a lot of friction. So to keep for 10 years the installation in the same way, we also add some solvent-based primer where there is a lot of friction on it. So the door is done. We just need to check if the cut is properly done. So it's not possible to remove Coala Interior Film from the side. So we can keep a lot of pressure.
I think one important thing here, Stefano, what would you do on the splice of the door, on the edge of the door? What would we normally do?
So usually the side of the door, it's untreated wood on the anti-fire door, and we suggest to keep it normally, so without nothing, or we can also paint with a similar paint of the film.
Usually the painting is the fastest way, and it's a way we really like because first of all, it goes quick, and second, it will also seal the edge of your material. So basically, whenever you paint, you will have a little bit of paint on the edge of the material, and therefore, if anyone would like to peel off the material, he's not going to be able to do it thanks to the paint. So it makes a lot of sense. And we also have, like I said at the beginning, we have more than 450 different references, but we have a RAL matching color for each of those references. Just ask your sales rep at Antalis, and he's going to be able to inform you.
So I want just to show you with a little part how to do also the frame. Like I say, in your project, you can remove the extra material you don't need it, so pre-cut the roll. And with the spare material, you can propose also to your customer to cover the frame of the door. Coala Interior Film on the two sides have always a machine cut. It's completely straight. And in this case, help us really a lot because usually it's painted wall. So to avoid to masking with masking tape all the paint, because if Coala Interior Film stick on the paint, you can also remove it. And we use the straight cut to be sure also to install Coala Interior Film completely straight with the grain of the wood. Really easy. We just push on the liner a little bit like a triangle outside to inhibit the paper, create some different leveling. And we just remove the liner, and like you can see already, most of the work it's done. Three-step technique to turn a Coala Interior Film to avoid channeling of air in the corner. So we just push on the side, on the corner, and after on the flat part.
So this is a really important way of doing it. You do that when you do tables, you do that when you do multiple different types of installation. So it's really the side, the corner, and the other side.
Now, really important, this is a real trick, how to go inside, but keep extra material on the corner. So basically we proceed here to keep the blade flat and with 45 degrees inclination, and we proceed to cut straight on the structure. Three-step technique. So push on the front, push on the corner, push on the inside. And now with our squeegee, we can proceed with a Pac-Man technique. So one side still in the last part of the structure, and the other side go to heat completely the material.
So I think everyone knows this this famous game when we were all younger that is called Pac-Man. So it's basically this little android who is eating the little round yellow things. So basically this is a technique Stefano and Andrea are using. They call it the Pac-Man. Can you show it slow motion maybe,
yes.
Stefano?
So with the round part, you go till the end of the structure, and the upper part go and heat the material instead to don't forget any empty space and to keep without tension
the Pac-Man technique.
All
like
the
that.
installation.
I like that.
So in this case, we need to make definition on the side, on the corner, sorry, and we keep the same design of before. Just put your squeegee not corner to corner, but 3 millimeters more up, instead to keep a little bit of extra material, and we remove the extra. Now, really important always, the natural way of the wood, like you can see on the structure, it's always on vertical part, vertical grain of wood, on horizontal grain of wood. So what I suggest, always ask to your customer how they want the installation.
Customer is king at the end of the day, so, and the installation is pretty much the same. I think Stefano is going to speed up on that installation because otherwise we're going to run late. It's pretty much the same. You do it at the top. So once again, it's a good call from Stefano. You can ask your client whatever he wants. If he wants the grain to be vertically or horizontally, most of Coala Interior Film will have the grain in the length of the material. So that means towards 50 nanometers rather than 1.22 meters, which is the width of the material. And but again, the client is the king. That's the one who decides, the one who pays. So whatever he feels is the best for his installation, you do it. Well, once again, I think to highlight the fact that changing or renovating a door with this material is so fast. It's definitely cheaper. And again, no smell, no dust. And you can see barely the wastage that Stefano has been using. So it's really minimal compared to if you have to break down the whole door and change it to the new one. So voila, you have here a door which is completely finished. I think we can see it on the camera. You have a wood type. Don't forget, you could have this in concrete, leather, fabric. So it's definitely a great advantage. We're going to jump straight into now the next video, if I'm not wrong. And then after we do the corners, which is going to be a 90 degrees corner and a stretch corner. Hey guys, we are back live. So remember I told you at the beginning that we'll do a little game. So we're gonna have 3 winners, all right? The question is the following, listen carefully. This is a table which is made of MDF. So it's a raw wood MDF. Which primer would you use for this kind of installation? So the 3 first answer, the number 1 will win this pack, 1 binder, 1 premium swatch. The second one will win the binder, and the third one will win the premium swatch. So 3 winners to the first to answer the question on MDF wood. What primer are you going to use? Are you going to use the water-based primer, flexible bottle, or are you going to use the solvent primer, the hard bottle? Floor is yours.
Thank you, Michael. In the time you typing on the chat, I want to show you in this situation, we don't have a high tax surface, so we suggest to cut the angle, and I want to show you how. So I basically stick the film like in the real situation. We just push on the first part of the angle to highlight where I need to proceed to cut. And from 1 millimeter under the point, we cut 45 and we split in 2 different parts. One, we can stick on top to help us to do the 3-step technique properly on this side. So push on top, push on corner, push on the side to avoid channeling of air. And the extra material we turn on the angle. Now, here there is no tension, so I can proceed to cut 45 degrees the Coala Interior Film, instead to avoid the possibility to stick off the material. And I just make a little definition on the opposite side because we have a triangle. I just cut after 3 millimeter a straight, with a straight cut, the material. And we stick off the opposite side, 3-step technique. So push on top, push on corner, push on side. And you see Coala Interior Film, it's already turned correctly. With the squeegee, I can finalize the application.
It's always amazing to see how with this renovation material, you can directly have a finished table. You know, it looks like a raw surface, and then you put a concrete material on top of it, and it's directly done, ready to be used again. So it's quite an amazing solution.
And also, it's not easy in the market to find this kind of solution already done. So good point. Basically, what I did is I have already the existing triangle. I just fold in the opposite side, but in this case, I cut 1 millimeter before the angle, so on top of the other one.
So once again, in order not to be able to peel it off.
Yes, exactly. So impossible to peeling off. We also have a really good tools if you don't want to see the cut to melt the 2 layers of Coala Interior Film.
So yeah, this is a really good tool. It's basically in order to weld the edge of the material. So basically this product, whenever you're gonna warm it up on the corner of your table, then it will weld the material itself. So it's gonna melt slightly, but basically like this, it's like it's sealing the edges and nobody is gonna be able to remove it. So we've done basically a 90 degrees corner that you could obviously, if you wish, stretch with the help of a heat gun, but Stefano and Andrea would advise you not to do it because it's faster, and at the end it's also better because you don't create tension to your material. But he's going to show you that basically you can do exactly the same installation with a stretching way. So look at it. So like usual, we create a stripe, in this case in the middle of Coala Interior Film. We just need to keep a little bit of tension on the 2 sides instead to see and check to have the correct position. What it's mandatory for the thermoforming is to have 7 centimeters more of Coala Interior Film plus the side in all the parts to don't put too much tension during the conforming. So basically like this, it's also easy if you need to work alone to do the installation because you split in 2 and you just need to take off the liner and stick properly Coala Interior Film. Now we have little bit of excess in the angle. It's normal because it's round, so we just cut out the extra material and we keep minimum
7 centimeters of extra material. Okay. And now I can proceed to conform the film.
So while Stefano is doing this, and because it takes a bit of time, he's going to basically stretch the material. So with the help of a heat gun, what the temperature are you going to be using there, Stefano?
Yes. So in this case, we use 220 degrees. You can set it up on the heat gun. You just need to wait some seconds to have the correct temperature. If you see, go high. And now, basically, we just need to warm the material. Never stay fixed in one point. Always move the heat gun to don't have shiny point. And without pull on the material, we just turn Coala Interior Film on the round side.
So the key is really not to warm it too much, and basically the material will basically act as a second skin to your material. So by having heat on it, it will become flexible, and therefore it will take any shapes. As you can see, it looks really easy, but it needs a bit of practice. So reminder for you guys, this is a teaser webinar, but basically if you want to learn how to do this to a higher level, subscribe to a training, speak to your sales rep at Antalis. He has all the information regarding this 2 days training to learn, obviously, a new kind of job. Remember when we spoke about what kind of pricing are you going to charge for this kind of installation? So whenever it comes to wall installation, you don't have to do all those things. So obviously the price is different. But whenever you need some skills like heat gun and whatsoever, then obviously you start charging more money.
So now it's time to take our squeegee, because we keep tension on Coala Interior Film. So we need to fold at least a minimum 1 centimeter on the back. In this case, we just go to warm a little bit the film, and with the squeegee, we make it flat and we stick 1 centimeter on the back.
Remember what I told you at the beginning, you can do wall installation, door installation, furniture installation, and basically with this webinar, you basically have a teasing of every kind of installation. And you can install a lot more than this, and you can install displays, you can install different types of furnitures, you can install your, like, pretty much anything you would like to give a new and modern life. The kitchen wrapping is something also that becomes really famous. Everybody has a kitchen on his plate, so it makes a lot of sense. It's really fast and economical at the end of the day.
Okay. Now, the extra material after the first centimeter, we can fold on the lower part. Now we just need to take our cutter, little bit more blade out. We set up at 1 centimeter on the back, and we use our finger like a guide to follow the round shape of the table.
So the thumb of Stefano is strong on the corner of the table, which gives him basically a precise cut below, and gives a perfect finish. Again, this is a trick that you will learn during a training session.
Absolutely.
And then you see that basically the table is pretty much done. If you decide to go to an extra level, you could also consider doing the bottom part. It's taking a bit more time, but nevertheless, you don't have to do it, but it's just to show you that it's absolutely possible to do it. So once again, having a door or having a table made of concrete, made of leather or fabric is quite unusual. So this is where basically this product has all its interest. Thank you very much, Stefano. Now I suggest we wrap up. We still have 5 minutes, and basically we're going to say who won those marketing materials. And if you have any questions, guys, you are more than welcome to ask us. So the first thing I can say is that we have 3 winners. So basically, indeed, on the MDF wood plate, you would use what we call the water-based primer, so the flexible bottle indeed. One of the tricks also that you might not know is the fact that this primer is a white primer. So whenever you put it on the surface, if the surface is too absorbent, then it will go from white to transparent really fast. So then you need to let it dry and then put a second layer, because it needs to go from white to transparent really slow pace. And therefore, afterwards, you can install the product. So indeed, we have 3 winners. So basically, the first one is going to be the one winning the package. So the binder and the premium swatch. Remember, the premium swatch is all the product you have constantly in stock. And there you have the whole collection. So we have, and I'm sorry for the pronunciation, guys, do not shoot the messenger, Tone Cherbo Lai. So if you recognize yourself by the name, please raise your hand. So that's the number one. So you want this package. The Antalis rep obviously is going to have those information in order to send those for you free of charge. The second one, who is winning the binder that basically has more than 450 different references inside, is Eric HVID. So again, if you recognize the name, and I'm sorry for pronunciation, raise your hand. And then the last one, the third one, well done, is earning this premium swatch book with 200 references of Coala Interior Film, and it's A Love Mo. So I hope you guys understood the names. Again, sorry for the pronunciation, but someone will take contact with you in order to send over those marketing material. And we are open now for any questions if we have the something in the Q&A.
We have a question from Annika.
Annika.
So basically, she wants to know how you splice the Coala Interior Film regarding the joints. In fact, when you are applying on a large area, she wants to know how to do the joint without making them visible, in fact. So do you have any advice to give her?
Absolutely. It's a good point to highlight for come here to the training and see exactly all the tips and tricks, because there is more than one. What we suggest if we need to do a buff joint, it's always to paint under with a similar color instead to don't see if there is some retraction during a lot of years the original color of the structure. So basically we fold the two layers of the two sheets, and after we cut in the middle, and we just need to after put in the same leveling the film. So
basically what you're going to do is you're going to put one layer on top of each other, and then you're going to cut bang in the middle.
Exactly.
So like this, that's what we call a butt-to-butt joint. If you were to do that, Stefano is right. We would advise you, because it's a vinyl, and depending on the temperature inside of the room, the product might stretch back to 1 millimeter or 2. So this is why we advise you to paint to a similar RAL color, like, I don't know, 5-7 centimeters?
Yeah, 5 centimeters.
10 centimeters. So like this, in case of it retracts a little bit, you're not going to see anything. Or the second solution, and this is why we work with a structured vinyl, there you might do an overlap straight away, 2 centimeters on top of each other, and you just leave it like it is. Thanks to the structure, you're not going to see anything. But I agree with Stefano. If you were to use solid color, then you might have to do a butt-to-butt, otherwise you will see the little bump. Do we answer the question, Annika?
I do think so.
Perfect.
I'm waiting for an answer. And I have another question from Heliv. So basically, he's asking if the Coala Interior Film is printable with UV ink, I think, and if, for example, it is possible to print like logo patterns on different kind of Coala Interior Film categories.
So whenever, it's an easy answer, whenever it comes to UV printable machines, then the entire range is printable. The glitter, the fabric, anything you want is UV printable. When it comes to eco-solvent, solvent, or latex printers, then it's a limited amount, mostly the solid color, etc., etc. You can see here, typically, we have a glitter type with a print straight onto it. So it's absolutely possible to print straight. UV printing is absolutely possible.
And really resistant.
Yes.
Another question from Frederick. So he is asking, how long does it last before the glue starts to lose its power, its potential? So how much time approximately the glue will stick, you know?
So if the question is how much I can stock the material, this depends obviously the temperature, but we can say between 2 and 3 years.
So there's two answers here to give, is while installing the material or whenever the installation is done. So
exactly. I think this is the question asked by Frederick.
Once the product is installed, trust me, it's I wouldn't say a lifetime, but you don't have to worry for many, many years. If the installation is rightly done. Don't forget what we said at the beginning, is that if the surface has a silicone layer, for example, it's not going to stick that well. If, for example, you put it straight onto a paint with a special treatment, for example, a solvent treatment or a silicone treatment, it's not going to stick that well. So you need to be careful about the surface. But once again, we have a technical sheet where you have the top 50 best surface and our tips and tricks how to install it. And when it comes to stock the material, it needs to be stocked at the right temperature, which is between 5 and 30 degrees maximum. If it's too cold, the material is going to become fragile, so you're going to break it easily, and the glue is not going to be as intense as it should normally be. I hope we answered the question.
Well,
anything else?
no, for now, no.
So the last thing I can add, guys, is really at the end of this webinar, you will have the survey. Please fulfill the survey. It's really important for us. Reminder, this is a beautiful product. It's a new product. The industry in Europe, at least in Scandinavia, it's quite fresh and quite new. I can tell you already that in Asia, it's something that is really, really popular, and it's due to come in the coming years. So you are more than right to jump straight into this new business type, because trust me, in 5 years' time, it's going to be a lot bigger than what it is today. So if we don't have any question, I suppose Lars maybe wants to say a word to end up the session. Otherwise, we just stop here. Thank you very much for following this webinar, and we hope you enjoyed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Perfect. Well done. And we have seen what kind of an incredible product the Coala Interior Films can do, and the end results. So we have got all the good tips and tricks, and the normal application with the wall and the doors and the tables, very well managed. And there are only good opportunities to do and to realize. So for everyone out there, when you have projects going on like this and you meet them, come in contact with your Antalis person, and we will help out as much as we possibly can with the sample materials, with trainings. In the future, we hope we can do face-to-face and actually meet each other, and come over with us with your projects, and we make something really nice from it. And again, you have heard it before, gör den här surveyen så att vi kan veta vad vi kan bli bättre på och hur den här webbinariet har varit till alla er ute i stugorna. Så ni kommer att få en länk att fylla i, och det är också jätteviktigt för oss så vi vet vad vi kan bli bättre på. Så alla vi på Antalis som ligger bakom det här, vi tackar så mycket, och vi hoppas att vi hörs igen när det blir mer dags om Coala Interior Film. Tack för idag.